We're looking a little north of the beach for a line of storms that are moving in from southwest Mississippi and had quite a little potency with these, mainly from gusty winds. Some small hail is possible, but a fairly solid line has developed in southwestern Mississippi and now starting to affect our North Shore parishes, northern Tangi and much of Washington Parish right now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:45. The leading edge of these storms, we have found estimates of 65 to even 70 miles an hour. That leading edge of those storms will have some very strong winds. That again is the primary threat. You're also getting some estimates of maybe some pea to nickel size hail as that initial line moves on in. So this is going to be fairly active weather for the North Shore parishes in the coming, say, 15-20 minutes or so as it first starts moving in, and then still some pretty heavy rainfall after. Note our computer model is really not doing a great job of this line at all. It has more isolated cells within this cluster, but it does indicate that those storms will continue moving generally south, but almost a little bit of an easterly motion to that line as we continue through the late afternoon, evening hours going into the early evening, and probably not going to see much of that as we move on to the metro area. Not to say we won't see any of the rainfall, but it does look like the kind of line itself is moving almost more through the Florida parishes, eventually into more Mississippi, and may steer clear of metro New Orleans altogether. So we'll be watching these over the next several hours. Today's high was still 94 degrees, and if you're on the South Shore right now, you're looking at bright sunshine, wondering about what thunderstorm warnings are you talking about. Again, just north of the lake, some very active thunderstorms. At the moment, current temperature is 92 degrees. Dew points have been much higher. It is more humid. Dew points have been now into the 70s, whereas the last several weeks we've had dew points kind of mixed 60s and 70s. That is sending our heat indices now well into the upper 90s and triple digits. And it's only going to get worse as far as the heat goes. Today, the focus may be more on those thunderstorms. Next several days, it's going to be on the heat. We don't have the clouds and rainfall, and that is the majority of us still in the lower and some mid-90s. And as I said, the humidity is definitely higher. We have more of a sustained southerly wind, and that southerly wind is going to be with us over the next several days. So with these thunderstorms, we'll be watching them over the course of the next couple of hours. The severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 8 o'clock, but we are starting to see some warnings popping up here and there. These are actually kind of along and associated with a weak frontal boundary, which is eventually going to start moving northward and weakening as a stationary boundary. What rainfall do we do have? And again, there is decent agreement in the models that it'll be weakening as it continues through the North Shore and probably pulling more east of the city as we get later on into tonight. Front itself is not going to do much of anything. Could see another little complex of storms riding along that boundary overnight tonight, but that is going to stay to our north. The building upper ridge is really going to keep any active weather north of us over the next several days. So after today, that's really our last best chance of decent rainfall. Disturbance as it moves south has warranted a slight risk of some severe storms by tomorrow. While we are under a level 1 threat, I think most of the activity is going to be a little bit more to our north, focused around more. Most of these upper disturbances are traveling because the upper ridging is going to start to dominate much of the southeast. That upper ridge right now is centered over central Mexico. That's about where it's going to stay positioned over the next couple of days. As we head toward the weekend and early next week, the upper ridge will be centered more into the western Gulf of Mexico. That will start sending even hotter temperatures our way, and I think we are going to see an increase to more mid-90s to upper 90s as we head toward the weekend and next week. And just about every day we're unfortunately flirting with records. Nothing going on out in the tropics. 95 our high tomorrow, maybe a stray shower tomorrow and Wednesday. A little disturbance could bring in some spotty showers on the North Shore, but otherwise hot and mostly dry as we head into early next week.